I have a baseball question for you. I think you'll like it.
Ooh.
I'm hoping it gets you fired up, but it may not get you
boy.
fired up.
Oh, boy.
Now, from Atlanta News First Plus, this is Sports Tonight.
Welcome into Sports Tonight, your Friday edition. Bailey Burmester alongside Ellie Parker, wrapping up a fantastic week and going into a very fun weekend. We're going to wrap up talking about Sunday night football at the Benz between the Falcons and Chiefs. Should be a great one. Also going to talk about Tech going back out on the road for some action. The Dream. We got to talk about the Dream after how things went down in New York.
I was so wrong.
And then we've been having fun on Fridays with a little question, and obviously we end with what's on your mind.
She asks me, I have no idea what's coming.
No idea, and I have a good one today. But let's start with Falcons. I'm sure you guys have talked about it a lot this week. Let's just start with what you think the biggest matchup is going to be.
Can the defense stop Patrick Mahomes?
And I don't.
That's the be-all, end-all question.
I think it's more so containing him opposed to stopping him, because I don't think you're going to stop him.
True.
I think you have to keep Travis Kelce from getting going. He's been struggling in the first two games, so they just have that. I asked a lot of the players about it, just that natural chemistry where they always, like, Patrick Mahomes always knows where Kelce's going to be, and you're like, how, why? So you kind of hope that doesn't become a situation. Kind of watching the showdown between Chris Lindstrom and Chris Jones. I think we haven't talked about enough about Chris Jones, one of the very seasoned vets who have been with the Chiefs for some good time, who just is always wreaking havoc a little bit. So that's one I want to watch. I'm eager to see how this offense will look in week 3. I want to keep seeing progression.
Yes.
Wouldn't you agree?
Can Kirk Cousins move his feet?
It was funny because I thought this was really, really interesting. For those who don't know, offensive coordinator for the Falcons, Zach Robinson, worked for Pro Football Focus at one point as an analyst.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's how he went from there to the Rams to be their quarterback coach.
Wow.
He was a quarterback at Oklahoma State, go Pokes. But he started analyst work, and when he started was very early on. And he had analyzed the draft that Patrick Mahomes was a part of. Also, Deshaun Watson, Mitch Trubisky, and he was high on Patrick Mahomes back then, very high. So I asked him, what did he see from Patrick back then that still translates today, and what's maybe something that is new to your understanding of who he is now that you have a sample size of him in the league. And, he always said that the way he's able to throw and make plays and extend plays has always been there, which is totally accurate. It's funny because Zach Robinson actually referenced his Texas Tech teams being terrible on defense. And I was like, yeah, they were atrocious. So he would compensate.
Welcome to the Big 12.
Yeah, well, and he was like, well, that's where he would compensate with just throwing things long, and he would give up interceptions, and people would be deterred by those interceptions, but that shouldn't be the case. But he said the thing that has stood out to him now is how smart he is. You can never really predict how smart a quarterback will become in the game in the NFL. well. And that was something he kind of pinpointed. So I thought that was really interesting this week. I enjoyed that answer from them.
As a Bears fan, I am going to cut to multiple Falcons players talked this week before I start ranting about the 2017 draft and how badly the Bears fumbled it. So let's hear from multiple Falcons players.
They fumble it a lot.
They fumbled it a lot. We're going to hear from Drake London, Grady Jarrett, Bijan Robinson, and Justin Simmons is going to have some things to say about their win in Philly.
When you look at this Kansas City defense, what's the biggest thing that stands out to you first?
They execute really, really well on their plays. Nothing really too fancy, but at the same time, everybody knows their roles and their job, and they got exceptional players over there. So it should be a good battle.
Drake, what allowed you to get going between weeks 1 and week 2?
Just finding our identity as an offense and seeing what truly works for us, and just the flow of the game. It was a different defense, and just a different group of guys out there. So their philosophy is a little bit different than others. So
Kirk said you guys, really have to build on what happened on Monday night for it to, be worth anything. What does that look like for you in particular going into this week?
Washed last week out. It doesn't really matter what happened last week, and just keep on going forward and progressing, and try to be the best version of myself for the team.
When you look at how the ball was distributed last week, is that more of an ideal situation rather than week 1?
Most definitely. And that's just how the game goes. We could either run it a lot or we could pass it a lot, and we could get a lot of people involved with touching the ball. So I think it was a huge plus for us, and just to be able to see that in real game time, everybody touching the ball and contributing was big.
Did you go back and watch Mooney's front flip? Because I know in the locker room afterward you said you hadn't.
Yeah, I watched it. He pistol squat landed it, which was weird, but yeah, very, very athletic.
How excited were for you in that moment to get his touchdown?
For him to get his touch, I was ecstatic, especially too on the DB he did it on. So I was very, very happy about that.
Not to discredit your route running, but how surprised were you to see that wide open on a final play game?
Honestly, it's a concept that we've been running a lot. I've put that on film, at least at practice, a lot, and a lot of those routes ended up the same way. So I wouldn't say surprised. I was just more so worried about catching the ball. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
I know you're on a different spot on the field, but to see Bijan doing what he was doing, especially in pass protection, I don't know how much of that you caught on the film, but to see how well-rounded of a back he's becoming here in his second season, does that excite you guys on the offense to see all the things that he does besides just running the ball?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, it excites us. It's really, really good for the team, but at the same time, we expect nothing less from him. He is Bijan, and he's one of probably the better backs in the league. In my opinion, he is. So for him to go around and do that all the way around, from blocking to running the ball to catching the ball, making explosive plays when sometimes they're not there, that's who we expect him to be, and he is that.
Your blocking was applauded this week from the last game, too. How much of an emphasis are you putting on that aspect of your game this season to improve?
I think it's been an emphasis since I've started playing football. No block, no rock is kind of the motto that I've been told from a lot of coaches just coming up, even my first years here. So week 1, I kind of lost myself a little bit and wasn't really straining as much as I should have to spring certain runs. So I took that upon myself in this week, and moving forward, I will definitely block my tail off.
How fun was that post-game locker room on Monday?
Oh, it was good. It was good fun. It was good fun to see everybody enjoy the win, but like we said earlier in the press conference, I definitely think it's time. It's been time for us to turn the page to focus all our 100% effort on this next opponent, and it's going to take another really, really big effort. The one I think it's going to take all day, and excited for that challenge.
Hey, what are some of the issues in rushing Patrick Mahomes? Jesse says the first play and then it's another 8-second play, and probably get tired.
Yeah, for sure. He can extend plays like no other. You know what I'm saying? And he's very elusive, very athletic, and then he can cover all the ground that he lose with his arm. You know, throwing if he got to throw it all the way across the field, and it's pinpoint right on point every time. So that's the challenge that he presents. We got to be disciplined in the rush lanes, and guys got to plaster. DBs got to stick with the receivers as they try to make plays happen while he tried to extend plays. And it's a gift that he blessed with, and I'm sure he works on a lot. And we got to be ready for it.
In your opinion, what makes Andy Reid such a good offensive football coach?
I mean, just the consistency over the year. Everywhere he been, he win. You know, with different kind of offense, different kind of personnel. You know what I'm saying? It always might look the same, and he just tailor to what his players do best. You know, and I mean, it's definitely something to just I guess marvel at the way he be able to, and the respect that his guys have for him. It says a lot too. And I mean, you know, I mean. From what I see as a competitor, as a player standpoint, I mean, you just never really know. You know, you just don't got the beat down on what he's going to do, you know, week in, week out. And seemed like they always got answers for something. So, I mean, he Hall of Fame coach for a reason. And, you know, definitely nothing but respect.
Kirk talked about the importance of building on what you guys did last week and you know, not letting that, you know, kind of be left behind in the past. What does that look like for you particularly in your guys' position?
I think just getting back to work. You know what I'm saying? Just getting back to work, putting all our effort into the next couple of days we got to prepare for Kansas City. And just really, that's really what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's real early in the season. Everybody will just play 2 games. And it's just the season can still go either way for everybody. So everybody's just trying to put their best foot forward. And if we let that Monday night win, you know, linger for too long, I mean that's a great win. But in my eyes, I expected to win the game. You know, and I think we up to the next game. So, and that's what we're prepping for, to continue to try to get these wins going.
I know every game is the same for you guys, but first Sunday night football game for the Falcons since I think 2019. You know, I'm sure there have been crazy atmospheres in the Bends that you've been a part of in the past, but to be able to have that opportunity to build, you know, on a stage like that, how exciting is that?
Yeah, no, super exciting, man. Super exciting. You can't take it lightly. Like you said, it's been years since we had one, and definitely going to relish and cherish that moment. I'm sure the band's going to be rocking, and I can't wait to see the fans turn it up, and we're going to give them a reason to cheer.
I would say the pass rush has evolved since the addition of Matthew Judon.
I think Judon does a good job of turning nothings into something. Sometimes he got a great feel for just finding the ball when it's in the pocket, and you know, he's a dynamic player that teams do have to account for, and a guy who had a lot of success in this league. So I mean, it definitely elevates us as a whole team more than just the defense. So he's a great addition for us.
There's been a lot of talk, especially these first couple of weeks, about passing kind of being down this year in the NFL. I'm just kind of curious to get your perspective on why that may be, and I guess what defenses in general are doing better to stop these passing yards.
I mean, I guess you always got to adapt, you know what I'm saying? Always new offensive stuff going, so we got to make new defensive stuff. And I mean, I've been so focused on what we got going on here versus around the league stuff. But I mean, defense, we already put in a position so many times that's like we're compromised position. You know, a lot of things skewed so the offense has success, and then and that's all right. But when we make adjustments and get better with it, defense shouldn't be punished for it. You know, just like we had to find a way. And when I say we, I mean defense. We had to find a way to adjust to new rules and stuff like that. If the defense is becoming more successful, then it's on the offense to find a way to adjust and what they got to do to try to get more points or more yards or whatever it is. But I mean, I guess defense kind of just playing catch up, and they're kind of figuring some stuff out. But I mean, that's why we play the game and compete, so you can be innovative and try to figure it out.
For the week been going for you?
It's been great. You know, we've been locked in. Obviously, it's a shorter week, so you know, for us, we're just trying to get our game plan going in as fast as possible, so we'll be comfortable for Sunday. But I think we've all been locked in. We've all been executing really well, and obviously we know this is for me it's another game for us. But this is a big game, playing against the previous Super Bowl champs. So we want to make sure we're doing everything correct to be the best that we can be.
Heard Drake got a cut up on him for the team about his blocking. Did they do anything for you with your pass protection?
Nah, heck no.
That's a big one. I mean,
yeah.
Just the pass protecting, was that an emphasis for you in going into the game?
Yeah.
I mean, those are some impressive.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, obviously, like Drake, he does a lot with the run game, and he makes a lot of plays, happen for me, for Tyler, for all of us. He's like another extension of the O-line, so he did a really good job of blocking in that game. But for me, I mean, that's like the standard. Like I have to block no matter what. I gotta help out the tackles. I gotta help out the guards. Like I gotta make sure Kirk doesn't get sacked. So I gotta do so many different things. Obviously with the running in the pass game, but then blocking is another thing that I want to be the best that I can be at too. But yeah, man. I mean, as long as I can make an impact and make a presence with my blocking, then that means I'm doing my job the right way, which is cool.
When you really went back and looked at week one's production, it's 89 total in the rushing yards in the game, and then 109 in the first half against the Eagles. What was the main contributing factor to that you really felt like this unit went and took a step? Was there one specific thing or a couple specific things?
Yeah, I mean, it was the O-line. Chris, Caleb, Drew, Burge, and, freaking missing one more. Who am I missing? Jake. The main one, Jake. Those five guys, and then obviously Charlie and Kyle and, Mooney and Ray and Drake, like all of them, what they did from week 1 to week 2 was completely different. Obviously with week 1, like we haven't played with each other yet, and we haven't played a preseason yet. So, those are like bullets firing all over the place, and we had to just like buckle down and get used to it. But then now going into week 2, we had a different mindset. And all of those guys just, were doing amazing. But the O-line was just moving everybody. They didn't have a chance from the first snap. Like, they knew what time it was. I knew what time it was. And when they're doing their job right, then I just get to just go, like, let, my God-given ability show on the field. And, that's what we did. But we want to keep improving off of that every single week. And we want to, establish that, trying to be the best run team in the NFL.
Not really the scene in Philadelphia in your locker room after this massively emotional win for you guys. It was dramatic. It was comeback. Take us into that locker room afterwards. What was it like, and what was it like to come down from that?
Oh, man, it was, everyone saw it, the pure emotion. I've always said I'm not a big fan of having the outside public have a view inside the locker room after a win. It's intimate. A lot of words can be said, but I'm actually really happy that moment was caught, because I feel like you could see the emotion that we have as a team for Coach Ra and the staff, and how bad we want to turn.
So some other things that are going on with this game, they are opening the top.
Oh.
Yeah, the weather's going to be good, so they're opening the top of the bends.
Think this might be the first time they've opened the top while I've been here in Atlanta.
Really?
I think.
No way, because they've opened it since I've been here. And
Have
I've
they?
been here the last year.
Oh,
I couldn't tell
okay.
you specifically, but I remember it being open for something. But also in addition, Arthur Blank will go into the Ring of Honor. He will be the 13th person inducted into the Ring of Honor. And because of that, everyone who goes to the game will get free hot dogs, a drink, and chips. Amazing. So I'm excited for the Sunday night football game. Back-to-back primetime games for the Falcons for the first time since 2013. So it's been a minute. I'm excited. I'm hoping for a very good atmosphere. Georgia is off. They are on a bye. Georgia State is off. Georgia Tech is on the road. They're facing Louisville. I believe Louisville's undefeated. They're 2-0 right now.
Number 19 in the country.
And they are securing 33 points per game. But Tech's off to their best start since 2017, so don't count them out. But they're going to have to slow down the Louisville offense. They have former Texas Tech quarterback Tyler Schowell.
I think so.
You know who I'm talking about. I'm terrible with names. We all know this by now. So he was at Oregon at one point too. So tall task, but let's hear from Brent Key about what's coming up on Saturday.
Had a really good look this week from our scout teams. I think it's important to make sure to commend not just who scout team players of the week are, but really overall all those guys. And that's what, continuing to add depth and build depth on your football team. It elevates the level of your scout teams, the look teams. And if you're going against better competition during practice, then obviously it's going to elevate and continue to shrink that gap between practice and games, and that's what we're always looking to do. Scout players of the week on special teams was Nehemiah Chandler offensively. And I thought the whole offensive line did a good job on the scout team this week. Patrick Screws might have been from the developmental practice today. He did a little one-on-one wide receiver DB drill and had a big catch across the middle, scored on it about 40 yards out. So big screws, about 330, running down the seam. There was elevated his status as Scout Player of the Week. And then Jack Collins on the defensive side, on the offensive field. And also, we talk all the time about football when we come in here, but 50% of what we do is with the academics of our guys and how important the academics are and how important it is that our guys come here and understand the ultimate goal is to get that degree from Georgia Tech and to graduate and build themselves a better life after football. And when we talk about life after football, I'm not saying life after when you graduate college. I hope all these guys go on and continue to play for a long time. But eventually they will be done, and to have that Georgia Tech degree with you is something that's irreplaceable. So we had Student Athletes of the Week this week. Zach Tobey on the defensive side and Tana on the offensive side. I'll let you guys the proper pronunciation of his entire name there. But to see those young guys come in and get adjusted quickly in school, I mean, it's outstanding. I mean, our team GPA is higher than the average GPA that our team had coming out of high school, if that tells you anything about the academic support and how these guys work and what they do, not just in the 20 hours a week of football they're in. So I've been proud of those guys. We got to continue. We got a 1 o'clock academic meeting today, so we'll see if I still have a smile on my face then. So, but we got a big challenge for us this week. Really big challenge. Good football team, Louisville. We talked a little bit on Tuesday about it. I think Jeff Brom does a great job of coaching, of developing, putting the right people in place, calling the game from the offensive standpoint, and just as the team's excited to go compete and play, as the head coach, I'm excited to compete against Jeff and on the game. I think he does it the right way. I respect him as a coach. I really do. He's a good. I don't think there's a better compliment in the world than to be called a ball coach when you're in this profession, and he is. He's a ball coach. So they got good players on both sides of the ball, good special teams. So it's going to take a really good day, good execution, disciplined play for us to be able to go up there and have the game close in the fourth quarter and have a chance to come out with the win at the end. So that's what we're planning to do. That's what we're working to do, and go out there and play and play against a good opponent and have a good 3:30 game on Saturday.
Questions, Kelly?
With the defense, are you looking to maybe be more aggressive in coverage and maybe trust your guys a little bit more as you guys are trying to figure out maybe how to get more pressure on the quarterback? Is that something you look to?
Who would have thought Brody would be the one today? I mean, of all guys, Brody. I don't know if the game got to his head last week. Or
Getting a couple snaps, yeah.
Yeah, Brody will be in this building for many years. I'm going to put that on record to say he's going to follow the same path, I believe, as some others who've come through these doors. So, no, I mean, different calls have different alignments, different things to do. We put our guys in the position we feel is the best for them, and they've got to go execute as well. They've got to. If the call is to press and or press bail or bail play off coverage or play off coverage and creep into press. I mean, we got to be able to stay consistent in our execution of it as well.
That's about the quarterback run game. When you and Buster sit down, is that sort of like a set number going a week? Does it depend on the opponent or how the game plays out? And how many times you want to run Haynes and Zach?
To me, it's really no different than the other parts of the game plan. I was going to say something kind of funny there, but then I thought it really wasn't funny. It would have been stupid. But so I just better let people think you or something than open your mouth and prove them correct, right? And so, no, it's part of the plan. It's what we feel like that we can do that week, against whatever the scheme is, the personnel is on the other side of the ball. But it's part of the bigger picture and the bigger plan of putting the plan together. When I sit down starting on Sunday night and throughout the day on Monday of putting the overall how we're going to play the game together, then I meet with those guys, meet with the coordinators, and we put in what we feel we need or is appropriate in that game. Sometimes teams play certain looks or fronts or coverage or whatnot that don't dictate it. So it depends on a lot of factors. Some weeks are more than others. Some weeks.
Alrighty, so we will see how Tech fares on the road. The Dream faring quite well on the road. So
I was wrong.
Did you say they were going to lose?
I thought they were going to get crushed. Instead, they beat the Liberty 78-67 to clinch the 8th seed in the WNBA playoffs. They faced the Liberty again in the first round. Game 1, Sunday at 1 p.m. in Brooklyn. Game 2, Tuesday at 7:30 in Brooklyn. Game 3 would be Thursday, if necessary, here in Atlanta.
Yes. First time they've gone to the playoffs in back-to-back years since 2017. Also a huge night for Tina Charles. Gets that one spot for rebounds in the league. She just continues to play lights out. It's funny. After the Sky game earlier this week, Tanisha Wright said that she expects more out of Tina Charles, more than what she's doing now. So I asked Tina on a scale of 1 to 10 where she thinks she's playing, and she said probably a 6, 6.5.
Which,
like, listen, I get you're an athlete and you can always do better and you set a high bar for yourself.
The woman has been printing double-doubles.
She's been the best player for the Dream all season.
Yes.
Which is crazy to say when you have Ryan Howard right there. And the fact that Tanisha almost retired. So it's just insane. It's going to be a very tough task to be able to pull out one win at least.
But after watching last night's game, Dream have a chance.
They're in the best position they can. They have some momentum. They're playing strong. Tina's playing great. If you're going to get one, now's the time to get one.
Yeah.
So we will see how they fare. Definitely going to be fun. Okay, question of the week.
Oh, boy.
Shohei Ohtani, 51-51 club. Okay. I saw a tweet and it made me think of you. The tweet was, comparing Ohtani to Babe Ruth, ... is disrespectful to Shohei Ohtani. Do you agree or disagree, and why? Was I right? Is this a good one?
This is a good one.
Okay.
Oh, this has put me on the spot.
Do you want me to go first?
You go first.
I agreed with it. And that's crazy for me to say. And it made me go back to like the LeBron Jordan in different eras. But like, I just, it pains me, but I kind
6
of
for
agree
6,
with it.
17 bases.
Wild. You agree with it, but it's breaking your heart.
I
right?
have to say I agree with it. As wild as that sounds, because Babe Ruth is like a top 10 baseball player of all time.
Correct.
However, if Shohei keeps going, top 3?
Well, and I feel like it's kind of like when you talk about the whole LeBron Jordan, how the game has progressed and it's harder now. I feel like that's the same with baseball. That you kind of have to give flowers where flowers are due where Shohei is concerned.
And Shohei versus Babe is a really interesting conversation because, well, we haven't necessarily seen Shohei have the same effect on baseball that Babe Ruth did. Babe Ruth changed the game of baseball forever.
Mm-hmm.
He was the walking end of the dead ball era.
Mm-hmm.
Home runs just weren't a thing, and then he hit 714 of them. So, I mean, are we going to see a run of two-way players coming into the majors? I don't know. Shohei could be a unicorn.
I think he's a unicorn.
But,
and maybe that's why I'm buying into this.
But I definitely feel the same way where we have entered a new era of baseball, and Shohei Ohtani has single-handedly dragged us there, kicking and screaming.
And transcended far beyond just what MLB is here, but other nations. Okay, tell me what's on your mind this week. I have a good one.
On r/hockey, there were pictures of the Stanley Cup at the Kennedy Space Center, which I just thought was cool.
Okay, I love that because preseason is officially here for hockey. There's also some news about meetings, about maybe a team's coming to Atlanta. I don't know. I'm not ready to buy into the hype until something's solidified. So sorry, I'm not getting.
We've had this conversation before.
What is on my mind? It's sports related to it. I'll make it more sports related by the end. But for Wednesday's game for Atlanta United and Miami, the Bens had a Bananas Foster bar in the press box. And I am not a big Bananas Foster gal, but this Bananas Foster was top-notch dessert I've had in a long time.
Okay.
I need more. I needed them to bring it back. Also, that game was wild.
Yes.
Did you watch any of it? I know
I
sometimes
watched a
you
little
tune in.
bit.
So the first half was ugly. Inter Miami goes up 1-0. I don't even think Atlanta United had a shot on goal. Second half, completely different story. Messi ends up coming in for Inter Miami. You have Saba with a nutmeg on the keeper. Goes in. Then immediately after that, Inter Miami has a free kick. It ricochets off of one of the players and goes in. So now they're up 2-1. And then later in the game, Alexi, who they just picked up for a new midfielder, rips one upper 90. Amazing shot.
Oh my God, that
It
shot was amazing.
Dirty. It was amazing. I loved every second of it.
If we could show you, I would.
Yeah. They end up drawing with Inter Miami, and what stung is they need a lot of points, so they need more points than a draw. And so they weren't too happy about that, but they have to. They've been starting slow. What's hard is now they're on the road in New York on Saturday for a 7:30 kick, and yeah, it's gonna. There's some crazy stat like they've never won there, so we'll see what happens. But for this edition of Sports Night, I'm Bailey Burmaster for Ellie Parker. You guys have a great night. Enjoy.